What is up, everyone? Welcome back to All It Takes No Whiffs. I am Alex, and that is Christian. And for this video, we are continuing our top 10 players at every position in the MLB. And this will actually be our last one. It's going to be starting pitchers, but it's going to be pretty much all pitchers in the MLB because there's maybe one player that we would put on this list for all pitchers, and he got hurt, unfortunately, in the WBC, and Edwin Diaz. So we are going to just make this a straight up pitchers list, but I am really looking forward to get into this.
Oh yeah, but before that, just to clarify, we decided to not do the top 10 DH video. That was a bit of a tough one to make, to be honest, because a lot of the people that would be DHs, they're not really primary DHs. They're going to be getting some field time as well. So, like for example, Jordan Alvarez, we had him in as our number one left fielder, but honestly, he's probably going to get a good amount of DH time. So it's just things like that. We decided it'd be better to not stick those players just at DH. But as for our top 10 pitchers, yeah, this is a really solid list. To get things started, though, my number 10 pitcher in baseball, I've got Max Fried of your Atlanta Braves. This guy has been nasty for the past couple of years since he's been called up. And I'm a real big fan of him. He's a lefty. He's got some nice stuff, good movement on his pitches. And he's not all about strikeouts. He does get good strikeout numbers, but really, I see him really as a ground ball pitcher.
Oh yeah, and I absolutely just love Max Fried. I hope we can get a contract done with him, maybe sometime during this year in the off season. But I have him at number 10 too. This dude's got one of the best curveballs in all of baseball, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. It's compared to Clayton Kershaw's in his prime. I would not say it's there. Probably will never be there either, but it is one of
Yeah.
those big and looping curveballs. And his fastball is pretty decent. It gets up onto you quick. And I kind of just like his mentality. I mean, this dude, every interview, he sounds the same. I mean, it doesn't matter if he had a horrible game or the best game of his career. He literally sounds the exact same, and that's why I love him so much because he's cool and calm at all times, honestly. And that's why he pitched so good in the World Series in Game 6
Mm-hmm.
after getting his ankle stepped on.
Got to be able to have that emotional control as a pitcher, just to be in situations like that. And like you said, Max Fried, he excels at it. So definitely a top 10 pitcher. Could honestly creep up this list a little more. He's been really good for the past 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure he's had a 2.68 ERA through that entire stretch. So who knows? But as for my number 9 pitcher in all of baseball, I got my guy Garrett Cole. Wish he was higher on this list, but based off last year, it was good and bad. 3.5 ERA. That's really not the good part, but he led the league in strikeouts, which was cool. And I think Garrett Cole, even outside of the whole sticky situation, is one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball. I'm honestly expecting a much better 2023 from him this year. He cut his hair. That's a big thing. Uh, he's locked in, if that signifies anything.
Oh yeah, and I have Garrett Cole at number 9 too. As long as this guy's not pitching against the Red Sox, I think he's fine. To be honest, this dude has just been one of the premier pitchers in all of baseball, really, since he's been called up. He was really, I wouldn't say he was really good at Pittsburgh, but he was pretty solid in Pittsburgh. And then when he got to Houston, he figured something out. And we all kind of know what happened. The spin rate there for a lot of pitchers changed once they got there. Same thing happened with Charlie Morton. And also like Christian alluded to the sticky stuff. But
Mhm.
I other than that, this dude is still one of the best pitchers in baseball. Honestly, I kind of surprised that we put him there at 9, but didn't
Yeah.
have the best of year last year. But there's also some guys who have stepped up and have passed him.
Yeah, that's just really how it is. And as for my number 8 pitcher in baseball, Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies. This guy is a beast, and he's low key been like a sleeper as one of the best pitchers in all of baseball for some time now because he's just been really consistent. I feel like once he figured things out, I believe he was coming. He had like a bit of a rough stretch to start off his career,
Mhm.
but once he's figured it out, he's just been lights out really. And uh, I know his stablemate Zach Wheeler is a premier pitcher as well, but Aaron Nola is definitely the ace of the Phillies in my eyes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. This dude is the ace of the Philadelphia staff. I have him at number 8 too, and I honestly hate it when the guy pitches up against my Braves because he's always doing good. He goes at least 7 or 8 innings with like 8 to 10 strikeouts. So I just I really, really like this guy. It's just that he pitches against my team all the time, so I'm a little conflicted about him, but his stuff is so good, to be honest. I think he had 200, and I can't remember how many strikeouts, but he had a lot of strikeouts last year.
Mhm.
Doesn't really walk that many batters, but I'm really just looking forward to this guy, pitching in 2023.
Without a doubt, leading the way for the team that just made the World Series last year. Can't wait for that. But for my number 7 pitcher in baseball, we got Dylan Cease. Honestly, gave Justin Verlander a run for his money in the Cy Young race last year. Dylan Cease was going off. Not flawless as a pitcher. His walk rate, it's just really high. If he can get that situated, to be honest, I think he's going to be like a top contender for Cy Young in 2023. He really broke out in 2022. I just remember him having, I think it was a stretch that started like he was really good in the first half, but then in the second half, there's a stretch that started just all the way to the end practically. And his stuff was just electric the whole time. I really love Dylan Cease's curveball fastball mix. I think it throws off hitters a lot. And as long as he gets that walk rate down, he's going to be a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much that entire staff, honestly, is getting that walk rate down, but, I have
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Cease at number 7 too. This is a guy I've just been super high on ever since he was in the Chicago Cubs organization too. I actually got to see him pitch in high school. He's, I think, 3 years older than me and pitched against my high school, so in the Final Four one year, so it was really cool to see that, and that dude's stuff was absolutely electric then too. So now seeing him on the big stage, being one of the best pitchers in all of baseball is so cool. But like Christian said, this dude's curveball is gross. The command of the fastball sometimes isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, this dude has got it all figured out. Last year, I will say I would about halfway through August through September, he kind of fell off. And
Mm.
other than that, this dude has just been really good. And I'm just looking forward to seeing
Oh,
him
yeah.
pitch a little more this year. And hopefully, he doesn't get hurt because I think this dude could lead the league in strikeouts.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, he did fall off at the end. I forgot that it was at one point, it was looking like he was about to have the Cy Young, and then it went back in Verlander's favor. True. Uh, yeah, he could definitely lead in strikeouts though. He's got the stuff for it. He's got the velo. I feel like it's just a matter of figuring it out. Just getting more pitches in the strike zone, and if he can do that, he could shoot up this list for sure. But for my number 6 pitcher in baseball, I've got Max Scherzer of the New York Mets. Uh, there's not really too much to say about Scherzer that isn't already known. This guy is a generationally good pitcher, and he's on the tail end of his career now. It's kind of looking like he's on the decline, but when he's on his stuff, he's providing top tier pitching, some of the best pitching you could ask for in baseball. And his health is going to be key for the Mets this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have Max Scherzer at number 6 too, and I was gonna say just health is honestly the thing with him because this dude is still one of the best pitchers in all of baseball when healthy. When he's not healthy, we can kind of see it. He gets hit up a little bit. I mean, that's
Mhm.
every pitcher to be honest. But my thing with Scherzer is this dude pitches with so much passion, and I just absolutely love seeing that. One thing is though is he looks kind of crazy at some points because of his eyes. He's got two different color eyes, but Christian pretty much said it all. There's not too much more to say about Max Scherzer other than I just want to have a little healthier season, and that's a ridiculous 1-2 combo at the top of that rotation.
Scherzer has just been one of the premier pitchers for throughout my childhood to up till now, to be honest. And I'm hoping to see him keep going strong. I would love to see that. It's just good for baseball, to be honest. But getting into the top 5 now, number 5, Mr. WBC MVP, Mr. the best baseball player in the world right now, Shohei Ohtani. Uh, it's dope that he's in this top 5 now because, to be honest, before last year, I wouldn't include him stuff wise, maybe, but just not being able to qualify was a big thing. But he qualified last year for the first time in his career, and his stuff last year, his season on the mound last year it was insane. And him doing this while being an offensive player as well, it's just amazing to see. Not that it that bumps him up in any way because his pitching, just his pitching alone, it's elite. His slider, obviously, we saw the slider that struck out Mike Trout. Gross. His splitter, the premier off speed pitch in all of baseball, and he gets up to 102. Disgusting.
Yeah, I have Shohei at number 5 too, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy keeps on moving up this list because he is just absolutely gross, to be honest. Christian has said everything spot on, to be honest. His splitter just drops off the table. That slider against Mike Trout was one of the best sliders I've honestly ever seen him throw.
Mhm.
And the fastball is just absolutely electric, 102 miles an hour. And then dude comes up to the plate the next inning is going to hit a home run. I mean, this dude is just absolutely electric. And this dude is definitely the best baseball player on the planet right now, just because of what he can do at the plate and on the mound. Mike Trout, sorry. I mean, I know I keep on saying you are, but I mean, you don't pitch, and he is so good at hitting. He is better than Shohei Ohtani at hitting. I'll give him that. But I mean,
Mhm.
Shohei, he can pitch, he can hit, and that's all. That's why he's the number one player in baseball right now.
Yeah, it's wild to see the mantle being passed on, but it's not being passed on very far.
No.
Now, hopefully, we could see them do some passing some teams in the wild card and actually making the playoffs. But that's another conversation for another day. But getting into my number 4 pitcher in all of baseball, I've got Corbin Burns of the Milwaukee Brewers. Corbin, honestly, it's wild that I don't have him in my top 3. He's just that gross. I just feel like based off last season, a mix of that and based off like an extended period of like how they performed, these other guys in the top 3, I just had to give them the edge, but Corbin Burns is a Cy Young candidate year in and year out for the past couple of years. Uh, what I love about Corbin is he's that sinker cutter kind of pitcher. Uh, Real plus in MLB The Show. Shout out to Corbin, even though I'm not playing this year. But Corbin Burns, he's just a premier pitcher. He brings some velo with a lot of movement, so that's what I really like about him. And I just I really like how simple his windup is. I know that's kind of like a little nitpick, but minimal movement and just maximum efficiency. That's how I see Corbin Burns.
Oh yeah, and I have Corbin Burns at number 4 too. This dude just doesn't walk a lot of batters. His pitch control is super, super good, to be honest. And that sinker cutter mix is honestly just one of my favorite in all of baseball or all of pitch selections because it's so hard to read both those pitches and both of
Mhm.
them move so much, to be honest. I mean, throwing both of them at upper 90s, that's absolutely ridiculous, to be honest, because most guys the cutter kind of drops off in speed.
Oh yeah. And it's honestly been dope to see Corbin Burns develop. He came up with the Brewers as a bullpen guy,
Hmm.
and he had some solid stuff, but like a lot of flaws. And then it's just I think he wasn't a sinker cutter guy at first, but picked that up, really mastered the art of movement, and look where he is now. Easily could win a Cy Young in 2023. Now that DeGrom's out of the NL, I think that just as long as DeGrom has a healthy season, that's not a roadblock for Corbin Burns. There's obviously other guys that could be in the way, but Corbin, he's just at that point. But for number 3, getting into the top 3 now, uh, I've got Justin Verlander of the New York Mets. Yeah, he's going into his first season with the Mets. Uh, what is he? He's 40 now, right?
40.
40. Going into his 40-year-old season, making 40 million in the season, I think. It's something crazy. Or 38, I think it is. He's making an insane amount of money on a 2-year contract with the Mets. And uh, what more can we say about Verlander? Oh, he was the best pitcher in baseball at one point in the I would say like 2010 to 2012 maybe, and then had a bit of a fall off. Honestly, back then I thought we were seeing the end of Justin Verlander, and then his resurgence once he joined Houston, and honestly a bit before that at the end of his Tigers tenure. He's back to being one of, if not the best pitcher in baseball. He definitely has that argument coming off a Cy Young season, and yeah, I'm just excited to see what he has for 2023 because he's just been good ever since bouncing back from Tommy John. Not good, great.
Yeah, Justin Verlander definitely deserves to be in the top 3, especially after last season. But I'll get into him in a second. But at number 3 for me, I have Jacob DeGrom. Just joined the Texas Rangers, and I just want to see this dude stay healthy. It's been, I think, 2 years since we've had a full season of Jacob DeGrom, and this dude should be number 1 on this list. To be honest, this dude
Mhm.
is the best pitcher in baseball. It's just that he needs to stay healthy, and that's why he is not the fact that he is still number 3 on this list and he only had like 11 starts last year and the year before, I think it was maybe 15. It just shows how good he is and what he is capable of. That fastball is absolutely electric. Slider is gross. Changeup is gross. I mean, everything this guy does, it's just great. He excels at everything on the mound, and I think Texas will be a nice little change for him. Maybe
Mhm.
the training staff can get things right and stuff, but I just want to see Jacob DeGrom healthy because this dude is capable of throwing a no hitter. Honestly, every time he gets out there, and he can win a Cy Young every single season if he wanted to.
Yeah, with everything you said about Jacob DeGrom, on top of that, he's got that dog in him, not to be corny, but his mentality on the mound, he really is just laser focused from the first pitch to the last one that he throws. And yeah, Jacob DeGrom not being number one, it's understandable. Like, that's why I actually have him at number two. He is skill wise, I still feel like the best pitcher in baseball. It's just a matter of getting that productivity out of him. If he could stay on the mound for, I guess, 20 to 30 starts, yeah, he's probably going to win a Cy Young, but we haven't seen that in some time from him. And like you said, fresh start in Texas. Hopefully that could be a change. And I'm just really looking forward to see how that plays out in Texas because healthy season for Jacob DeGrom, I think, could change the tide for Texas in a sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, adding the best player or not best player, but the best pitcher in all of baseball to your team is definitely going to help. I mean, that's going to be at least 10 to 15 wins a year, and I know the rotation was not the best before, but I hope he can stay healthy this year. But at number two for me, I have Justin Verlander, who you had at number three. This dude just had an absolute unreal season last year. Had a 1.75 ERA, won the Cy Young Award for the AL. I think that was his second or third time winning it, and this dude is just absolutely unreal pitching at this age, coming off Tommy John surgery and having one of the best seasons of his entire career. So this dude definitely deserves to be in the top two. I know you have him at number three. I just couldn't put him at number three because of DeGrom right now, but Justin Verlander is one of the best pitchers I personally have ever seen play in person.
Yeah, no, I feel that. His stuff is electric. Verlander is an all-time great pitcher in my eyes, and yeah, I might feel a little bad having him outside of the top two, considering he won a Cy Young last year. But I couldn't let go of Degrom yet. But before we get into our number ones, a couple honorable mentions real quick. I've got Framber Valdez of the Houston Astros. Guy is a beast, eats a lot of innings. And I've also got Carlos Rodon of the New York Yankees now. I cannot wait to see him in pinstripes.
Oh yeah, I think it's funny how you pick two lefties and I pick two righties. But
Hmm.
my honorable mentions for me are Shane Bieber of the Cleveland Guardians and Kevin Gausman of the Toronto Blue Jays. Both guys super solid. Both are very different pitchers, to be honest. Shane Bieber's that Greg Maddux type, which I absolutely love.
Oh yeah, two guys definitely would be at the top of like just pitching list when it comes to stats for sure. Hopefully Shane Bieber could get back to his Cy Young form. I'm looking forward to that. But to get into number one, the clear cut best pitcher in 2022, Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Marlins. This man's 2022 season was just insane. I forgot the number of it, but the amount of complete games that he had this
Five.
year, 5 complete games, that's just you don't see that often, rarely in starting pitchers in modern baseball. And what his stuff itself, the sinker that comes in at I think at least 98 plus, definitely gets up to triple digits. Gross. His off speed, he's developed it to a point where it's gross. And honestly, Sandy is just he's kind of like one of the most intimidating pitchers in baseball too, because when you're throwing that hard with that much movement, it's like you see some hitters who are just super frustrated against Sandy. And last year was just really his first breakout year. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more from Sandy for a few years.
Yeah, and I was honestly just about to say that, but I have him at number one too. And this dude was absolutely just went off last year. His control is great, and we can see that
Hmm.
by having five complete games. A lot of pitchers don't even get one nowadays in an entire season. So the fact that he got five is unreal. And I think he kind of solidified that Cy Young after that complete game against the Dodgers late in the season. Once he got
Hmm.
that, I think it was beginning of September or something. I mean, he pretty much had it locked up the rest of the year. But you said everything spot on about Sandy. This dude is just so good. He broke out last year, and he's just going to get better and better, I think, the next few years. He's still young, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him this year. I know he's on the Miami Marlins, and they're not the best of teams, but they do have one bright spot at least to look forward to this year.
Oh, without a doubt. And uh, the thing I like about Sandy for sure the most is he was a project for the Marlins. When he came up, he was just really raw. Uh, I'm pretty sure the sinker was already like electric, but they had to develop a fastball first to get him going. And it was a video I saw about him not too long ago, and his story was just pretty dope. And it kind of reminds me of Giannis in a sense. I don't want to say he's at that level, but just being a project that's panned out and potentially for long term in this way, it's just amazing to see.
Oh, yeah, and I bet the St. Louis Cardinals are kinda kicking themselves now because, Marcell Ozuna, they lost out on him, not signing him back, and Sandy Alcantara was part of that trade to get him there. Zach Gallen was also part of that trade too, and he's part of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization now, so that's 2 premier pitchers that were in that one trade, to be honest, but, not really too much more to talk about Sandy. He is definitely the number 1 pitcher going into this 2023 season, and, I can't wait to see what some of these guys do because this list is definitely gonna change around this year.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. This list, it's obviously open to a lot of shifting. That's just kind of how pitching is. I like that we do get a mix up of like standout guys, and we don't really get people repeating as Cy Young often, and that's just how it is with pitching. We got a whole lot of talent in this league when it comes to pitching, and I love that. If you guys feel like we folded at any of these picks, you can let us know in the comments for sure. And if you want, you could also subscribe. Definitely look forward to our videos for the 2023 season. It's going to be a great season. Obviously, it's off to a good start before with the WBC. I think the season's going to be kicking off to a hot start. Cannot wait to see what these guys do on the field. But until then, peace.
Peace.